Okay guys, it's story time. Today I want to share with you the story of my Linux journey and why I chose Linux as a daily operating system. Alright, so flashback to 2007, I'd gotten my first real laptop. I got an old Dell Inspiron before that, and it ran in Windows XP, which I considered to be the de facto standard for NT kernel operating systems. Windows, if you will. But this new laptop had Windows Vista on it. I know what you're thinking. Oh, Vista was garbage. Vista was not garbage. I'll tell you what was garbage. The computers that ran Vista were garbage. Those of you who were actually there know what I'm talking about. They had the little sticker on them that said made for XP, Vista capable, and oh boy, was I a naive child thinking I was going to be playing Halo 2 Vista on one of these things. That computer ran slower than hell. It had integrated graphics. It had 512 megabytes of RAM, only a fourth of the recommended 2 gigabytes of RAM for Vista at the time. Core 2 Solo, which had a single core in it. I knew there had to be another option. I googled, how could I make my computer faster as a dumb 7-year-old, and eventually ran across some forums on the internet that did not give me the answer, but they did give me an alternative. Ubuntu, I said. What's that? As I read the instructions on, I learned that I could install something other than Windows that would make better use of my computer's resources. Eventually, after trial and error, I burned an installation CD of Ubuntu and was amazed to see that upon restarting the computer with the CD, I was actually in Ubuntu, unaware that Ubuntu was even part of a greater collective of the GNU/Linux project. I eventually made my way through the installer, and Ubuntu was what my laptop ran on. That's not to say I didn't meet problems, however. I quickly learned that the games I had played oftentimes did not work on my operating system. Halo 2 Vista was out of the question, and out of my budget anyways, and other games like GTA San Andreas, for instance, did not work either. Although eventually I learned that I was using something called Linux, and that games with builds of those were playable to me. Most notable to me was Doom 3 and Quake 4. One day I had stumbled upon the Wine project. Was this the answer to my predicament? I installed it and tried to play GTA San Andreas and failed miserably. Wine definitely wasn't kid friendly, but you know what was? Play on Linux was. I installed that and was blown away that I can now play GTA San Andreas in all its 15 FPS 640 by 480p glory. At long last, I'd achieved my goal. I was a PC gamer. Eventually, a few years had passed, and I had a friend over at my house. I was showing him something on my computer, and he saw my desktop. He goes, "What's that? Is that Windows? That looks like computers in the movies." Staring at him in disbelief, I had asked him to show me his laptop, and sure enough, he had a totally different desktop experience to mine. He had Windows 7. He said that he had never seen anything like what I had on my laptop. Apparently, what I thought was a norm in the computer world turned out to be a huge minority. I started to learn more about Linux, and eventually I came across Richard Stallman's speeches and essays about free and open source software and the philosophy behind it, as well as his teachings about digital privacy and security. Although at the time I didn't understand it all, which came in time, what I understood was good people work to give me what I have, and from then on, I did what I could to try and help them. I wanted Linux to be the top, the king of the world. I wanted everyone to love and understand Linux like I did. Keep in mind at a time where this would definitely not be as feasible as today. And as such, I became a proponent for the free software movement and learned to submit bug reports, and I even did a little bit of programming along the way, and have had commits upstream to some of my favorite software. I would even donate some of my scarcely given money to these projects because I wanted to show appreciation for this, because up until then, I had no idea that the devs were doing this not out of a desire for money, but out of a love of the community. A love for your digital rights, and it changed my view on the world forever. It really touched me, and from then on out, I want to do whatever it is that I could to help. In all my years of using Linux, I went from Ubuntu to Fedora to various other Linux distros, all the way to where I am today as an Arch user. What matters in the end isn't the choice of distro, that's the surface of it. We are a community at heart, and at the end of the day, all that matters is that we work with each other to meet not only our goals, but the goals of everyone, and that goal is to bring a truly free operating system to the masses. Thank you all for listening to my story. If you liked it, then please like and subscribe. Share my channel around if you know people who are thinking about making a switch to Linux, and have an awesome, wonderful rest of your day.